At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. Quick reminder that we've got the Ted Blankenheim's 21st annual bike drive for the kiddos. You can get those different locations here on your screen here. Starbucks, Budget Blinds at 9690 Tanqueray Court. Youth and Family Programs at 2770 Pioneer Drive. AAA at 943 Mission de Oro Drive. Dill's Deli on Caterpillar Road. And Wheelman Club of Reading. You get those until today, and of course they will be taking, today is the last day. It's Christmas Eve, so they want to get the kids, the bikes out to the kids Christmas, right? So let's make sure we do that for them. Hey, let's take a look at some of the reports that we're getting in here. This is just looking at the last 12 hours, actually, along with the radar on top of that. The winds have been strong. We know that, right? Especially if you've been out there, or you can even hear the winds howling. Let's take a look up there near Crescent City. This kind of takes a little bit of a while to load. Let's see if it loads on up for me. It doesn't look like it wants to. So I've got to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way, folks. We're going to do it this way. All right, fine, whatever. I'll have to contact customer support on that one. What? It doesn't want to load up for me. All right. Boy, that was fun. Let's see if it loads up now. Maybe we'll go back to it. That is frustrating. So you can see the down trees. Let's just put it that way. It had all the cool information that I typically can click on it. And for some reason, it doesn't want to. There we go. All right. Sometimes it just takes a while. All right. Okay. Here. Good morning. Looks like my computer is going to make up. Maybe I should give my computer some coffee. All right. So I'm in the Crescent City area. In fact, 6 miles southeast of Fort Dick. A tree blocking the road near intersection of Ashford Road and Route 197. Let's just take you down the coast here. 8 miles northeast of Blue Lake, California. Report of a very large tree down across Highway 299, blocking both lanes near Bear Road. We've also got a flooding report. Hook Road exit on Highway 101 is closed due to flooding on Hookton Road and Eel River Drive. But you'll notice, really, it's the down trees. That's the main thing that we're looking at here. You can see tree partially overing? I don't know who writes these. Part of the southbound lane of 101 near Pasula Road. Just southwest of that, you've got a tree block down and blocking the entire road on Honeydew at Wilder Ridge Road at Matoll Road. Near Garberville, you've got a tree down covering southbound lane on Highway 101 in Richardson Grove State Park. All right, let's take you up to the north here, north of Reading. Tree blocking off-ramp on 105, on I-5, that is, at Salt Creek Road. We've got one in northeast of Red Bluff. Tree blocking eastbound lane of State Route 36 near Lane Valley Road. And this looks like it is power line on right-hand side of road. This is 3 miles northwest of Big Bend, California. Let's take you near Oroville. Tree and roadway, Los Vergeles, hopefully I said that right, road about 1 mile south of Bangor Bridge. We've also got near Yuba City, tree blocking roadway on State Route 20 near Poker Flight. All right, so interesting here. We're seeing the down trees. This is just in the last 12 hours, folks. So a lot of it was last night and early this morning that we are seeing out there. So yeah, I mean, that's what's going on. And in fact, we take a look now at the radar and you can see things are kind of tapering off a bit, actually. See the rain in the valley? It's gone. And just looking at the overcast skies, most of the rain right now is to the north and east of the valley at this point. Now look at the winds that we've seen, the peak wind gusts close to 60 miles per hour at the Reading Airport. That was actually one of the strongest gusts that we saw last night and early this morning. And there you can see around over 40 miles per hour in most cases. Chico about 39, 48 for Oroville, Willows 37. The coast, not as bad, but still very gusty winds nonetheless. And El Turris about 43 miles per hour. In fact, you can see the power outages. When you have a single digit there, that means it's 1,000. So 1,000, approximately 1,000 customers in Siskiyou, approximately 4,000 customers in Humboldt, Shasta County, about 2,000, Tehama County, about 200 customers, about 1,000 customers in Glen Butte County, about 900. So power outages we're seeing a lot of them. Why? Because we were just showing you those downed trees that we did see. And of course, there was that power line that was reported down in Butte County. Wind speeds right now, they're still gusty, but the good news is they will subside for the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. But that's not going to be the end of the winds, because we've got more for tonight, Christmas Day, and even the day after Christmas. All right, let's check in with some of you here. Love your show. Of course, you got someone coming in there saying that. We've also got Jackie Disson. A couple of our normals checking in this morning. Good morning from Trinidad. Good morning to you, Jackie. Good to see you this morning. Good to see you, Curtis, as well. Good morning to you. We've got Rachel Fleming. Merry Christmas Eve, Mike. Well, Merry Christmas Eve to you as well. Look at that. Look at that photo there. That's awesome. Definitely getting into the spirit there. And Jackie reporting, saying, last night we had wind and rain here in Trinidad. Certainly no surprise there. All right, so we've got more flooding, muds and rock slides. Very strong winds will continue with downed trees and power outages. We saw it last night, saw it early this morning. We're going to see it again over the next 48 hours. Lowering snow levels, leading to the holiday travel delays. But there is relief in sight. The drier conditions are expected, but still cool as we go into the weekend. All right, for those of you that just want a quick look at the forecast, here you go. Let's take a look at Krueger's Quickcast for your Wednesday, December 24th. It is Christmas Eve. Can you believe it? Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s in the valley, 40s for the higher elevations, and 47 for Crescent City. Getting a report from Betsy saying power out for most of Palo Cedro. Thank you for the report, Betsy. There you can see out the door this morning. Could we see thunderstorms? Northern Shasta, southern Siskiyou? Sure. But really, the rain, for the most part, will be done with. So it's showing it in the valley, Trinity County, even the North Coast. Really, it's going to be east of the valley where most of that rain will be this morning. Wind speeds right now, you can see just how gusty it is, but those winds are going to start to die down, at least for this afternoon. There's a high wind watch through Thursday evening for Del Norte Humboldt. There is a high wind warning for Siskiyou and Modoc County, plus a wind advisory through midday today. That'll probably be reissued for the winds we expect again tonight and tomorrow. And then through Friday evening, off and on winds for the valley. Just kind of broad brushing that one and kind of planning ahead here, because you can see the winds as we go into the rest of the afternoon. Yeah, they're dying down. Still breezy, still borderline windy, even midday for the valley. Central Siskiyou County, they're warning high-profile vehicles maybe not going up on I-5 there in Siskiyou, because that could be a problem. But the winds do subside a bit, but they'll be picking back up again as we take you into tonight and tomorrow. So the intensifying area of low pressure, which, by the way, someone had asked me, did we end up seeing a bomb cyclone? Well, at the Redding Airport, in the last 24 hours, the area of low pressure dropped 14 millibars. You needed to drop 24 millibars in 24 hours in order for it to be a bomb cyclone. Well, there you go. Looks like a lot of people who said it was going to be a bomb cyclone may have bombed their forecast. Right? It's just the over-sensationalization. Can I say that? Can I say over-sensationalizing meteorological terms? Bomb cycle is a real term, folks, but the media, yeah, they like to basically kidnap these phrases and use them to their advantage to use scare tactics. I saw the headlines. Yes, listen, 2 days ago, the forecast models were indicating that we would see a bomb cyclone. But the last 2 days, I haven't seen it, and it didn't happen. At least at the Redding Airport. Now, we'll have to take a look at some of the other areas and see if it did verify, but that's what it looks like right now. Yeah, thank you, Betsy. Yes, I can. I can say sensationalization. Sensationalization. I don't even know that's a word. Linda saying good morning from Galt, daughter of Tom Collins. Well, good morning to you. So glad you could join us out there this morning. So looking at the satellite image, you can see that there's an area of low pressure. It's been intensifying. Listen, bomb cyclone or not, it's a strong area of low pressure. And it was strong enough to give us gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. Power outages, down trees. That was expected. It's also tapping into that moisture, and as a result, we got to see the rain. But as that low pressure system moves to the north and east, there's a drier slot of air that's going to be moving in, and that means we're going to dry out for the most part. Not 100%, but it will be a drier day, much like what we saw yesterday. Let's take a look at Futurecast. So there you can see this is at 6 o'clock this morning, so about an hour ago. But you see even by 8 o'clock this morning, it's kind of kicking off to the north and east. Now notice that line. Potential thunderstorm, northern Shasta and parts of Siskiyou County. But see, the bulk of the rain is to the east. And then by midday, look at that. Now here's the thing. That looks like a convergence line, doesn't it? And it could very well be, but that's typically a little bit farther to the south. But we're still going to have to watch for the potential for thunderstorms, especially in northern Shasta County and into Siskiyou. But otherwise, I would not anticipate we're going to see. I don't think the winds are going to be as strong with today as they were on Sunday. So if we see a convergence line develop, it won't be very strong and it won't last for very long. But again, that's something I'll be watching very, very closely. And should it develop, I'll of course be sure to let you know right away. But through the afternoon, you'll notice we're just not seeing much rain. But then look at this. Look what's coming in from the south. More rain, more wind tonight and tomorrow. Looks like Santa is going to have to navigate through rain, wind, and snow over all of Northern California for tonight. Wouldn't you know? Welcome, Santa. Right? All right. So there you can see, of course, I've got low risk of rain today. But then you go into Christmas Day, the day after Christmas, high chances. We're going to be looking at wet weather both those days and windy weather. But then by the weekend, we're drying things out. We're going to talk about all of that in more detail coming up in our Deeper Dive forecast. Deeper Dive, by the way, if you want to stick around for that, we go into great detail. If you're traveling, we can take a look at that. We're going to look at all of the things that impact all of us in great detail. This is just kind of a generalized look at the forecast for the next 24 hours. All right, so you can see mid-50s for the valley for tonight. And excuse me, for today, for tonight, upper 40s, low 50s. I see a lot of the blue colors on the map, and sometimes I'm thinking, oh, it's an overnight map. No, it's just that time of the year. It's nice and cool out there. But the wet weather, windy, and cool for many of us here overnight tonight. So a quick look at your 7-day forecast. Mainly dry for the valley, but we have wet weather here for Thursday, Friday. And look at all that sunshine. What? Haven't seen that in a while, haven't we? So we got more sunshine in the forecast for everybody by the weekend. And then it looks like snow levels on average will be about 3,500 feet, give or take, tonight, especially Thursday and Friday. And then for the weekend, again, we're starting to dry things out a bit. Hey, let's take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning. Looks pretty dark out in Oroville. Can't really see anything there. Nothing to really talk about, but other than the fact that we've got wet roads in Main Street Chico on Highway 32. And traffic is flowing along here. We've got overcast skies. Looks a little wet. Now this, of course, most of the rain has moved on out, so the roads are still a bit wet out there this morning. As you can see there on Sundial Bridge Drive, Highway 44. That's the Sundial Bridge Drive exit. Sutter Buttes is still kind of covered in those low clouds, a little bit of that fog, so probably still seeing some of the rain and drizzle there. Crescent City looks still a little wet, as you can still see some of the showers that we are seeing there, and the winds have died down since last night. Bald Hill West, we're looking down at Hoopa Valley there, and we're seeing the lights kind of going through some of the low clouds that we have there as well. We take a look at Soda Ridge. Well, there's nothing to really look at there, just a dark picture image as we got those low clouds hanging out there. Fort Jones, you can see the overcast skies and some of the lights down into the Scott Valley area, so it looks like we're not seeing the fog there, but still some showers in parts of Siskiyou County this morning. Taking a look at Lassen Park, snow. We're seeing some snow up there at about 6,700 feet, it looks like. Well, today is Wednesday, and we got our Grange Co-op Spotlight. We are going to be taking a look at the hardware department. There's a little bit of something for everybody at Grange Co-op. Check it out, your Grange Co-op Spotlight. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Krueger from Weather NorCal. This is another edition of Grange Co-op Spotlight. With me right now, I have got Tasha here, of course, at Grange Co-op. Thank you so much for joining me here.
Of course.
We are in the hardware section. So a lot of great departments here at Grange Co-op. So tell us some of the things that people can find here in that hardware department.
Well, we have a variety of nuts and bolts, a little this and a little that, a small selection of hand tools, as well as some spray paint, a little touch up here and there.
So, I mean, really a lot of things that just maybe some minor things that you may need to do around the house.
Yes.
There's a very good chance you may find what you need right here in the hardware department. And of course, there's always someone here that can help you find, because I know when I'm looking for any kind of nut or a bolt or anything like that, you're looking for that right size. Someone could probably help,
Thread
right?
count, yep, all that.
Exactly. So if you have any hardware needs that are at your home, you can always come here to Grange Co-op, and they will, of course, take care of you and help you find what you are looking for. That's another edition of Grange Co-op Spotlight. We will see you next week. All right, once again, I want to thank Grange Co-op for their sponsorship of the Animal Family segment. Of course, we do as a result to the Grange Co-op Spotlight. Great store over there in Reading, so be sure to check it out. It's where the old Shopco used to be, so head on over there. It's next door to Rayleigh's. Hey, we got to check in some of your comments coming in this morning here. We're going to kind of put it over the sponsor of Coffee with Krueger. We're going to go into that here in just a second, but first, let's take a look at some of your comments again this morning because we have got... Morning from Mount Shasta, the wind is howling and all rain in the city. Yeah, all rain. That may switch over to snow later for you, so I'm sure many of you might be kind of crossing your fingers on that one. Let's see here. We've got Jackie saying the coast power outage map has doubled since your morning update. Interesting. Let's see here. Oh, this is kind of fun. We got Jamie Lynn saying, good morning. My boyfriend needs a shout out. All right, so let's go. Say, Jesse, glad you're enjoying my weather channel. Welcome, Jesse, to Weather NorCal, and welcome, Jamie, as well. So glad to see all the new faces, all the new names. Many of you may have just discovered me. There seems to be kind of an explosion of people that discovered me here with the recent events here, and that's a good thing that you discover me. The bad thing, of course, is the way you had to discover me, but it happened, and I'm so glad to see all of the new names and faces. Greetings and Merry Christmas from Sandy. I met you at a grocery outlet last Saturday. It was real nice to meet you. Thanks for your great weather forecast. Well, nice to meet you, Sandy, and thanks for chiming in this morning. Love to see all of you in public. And by the way, don't be afraid to say hello, good morning, whatever, if you see me out and about, because it validates what I'm doing and that you all are watching. And, you know, when you do say hi, even if it's just a quick hey, say, hey, Weather NorCal, because what that tells me is you recognize me from Weather NorCal and not from some other source, which will go unnamed. We've got Jay saying windy this morning as well. So yeah, definitely interesting. All right, so at Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. I want to thank Wind River for their support of Weather NorCal and sponsoring Coffee with Krueger since day one. So, before we get into the deeper dive forecast, here's what we're going to be talking about in the deep dive. Series of storms through Friday. And this is a map I've been showing you the last few days because that's essentially what we've got, and we'll continue to see possible flooding, rock slides, mudslides, debris flows. That has been happening, and it will most likely continue to happen in the days to come. We're going to talk about the intensity of that and how you don't necessarily need to be concerned if you're in Reading after Sunday, okay? We're not going to see a repeat of what we saw on Sunday. Gusty winds at times, gusts 30, 40, 50, even 60 miles per hour. Possible wind damage, we've already seen that this morning, and power outages. Mountain snow leading to travel delays. There you go. Let's get into all of that in the deeper dive forecast, sponsored by Shasta Hearing Aids.
Frank, come help with the dishes.
What?
The dishes!
I heard it the first time. I just got back from Shasta Hearing Aids, but she doesn't know it yet. What?
Forget it.
Once again, I want to thank Shasta Hearing Aids for sponsoring the deeper dive forecast. For those of you who are new to the channel, here's how I kind of do my forecast at the 6 a.m., 6 p.m., and during Coffee with Krueger. I do a Krueger's Quick Cast at the top of the show because I realize some of you don't have a lot of time to really get into the nitty-gritty of the forecast. So we start with that, get you through the day, right? And then we go into the deeper dive forecast where we get into the nitty-gritty. We get all the details. And this is going to be a good place for you to continue to watch if you've got travel plans, if you've got things going on here through the holiday, because there is a lot to talk about. And there are three main categories we're going to be talking about here. Rain, wind, snow. Those are the three main things that we're going to be talking about that's going to be impacting any of you that have any outdoor plans or even travel. Temperatures in the upper 50s for the valley right now. We're talking 40s right now in the higher elevations as well as the coast. Not a very big temperature spread there because of the overcast skies. So look at this. I mean, you can clearly see the progression of the rain overnight, but then the progression of it dying out. We have that line that the Futurecast has been picking up on. Look at this. Look at this. We'll have to watch this. Remember I was talking about that potential right here. We're seeing a line develop near Reading. We're going to have to watch that closely. I'll keep a close eye on that. In fact, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to go over to my computer here, and we're going to go into the higher resolution radar on that one. Let's do that, because let's take those out as well. This is the wrong one. Radar reflectivity, there we go. Okay, there it is. So if you notice, we've got some pretty heavy rainfall right now in Keswick and Shasta. Here, what looks to me to be a convergence line developing. We'll have to see. In fact, let's do this. Let's show you. I'm going to go to, we're going to go to the internet here. We're going to take you to it. And we're going to go to, there we go. I have to, excuse me, I didn't have it all set up and ready to go, but we will get it up and running here. Here we go. I have to kind of navigate through a few things. We'll get you there. Station plot. There it is. All right, so let's zoom it in here. Let's see where the winds are coming from. Winds are blowing from southeast. Looks like where we're seeing that line develop, it's kind of going up the mountains. We've got some pretty strong winds there. So we'll see. Let's take you back to the radar and let's see if this thing has been moving at all. Let's take you in time, back say 3 hours or so. Let's see here. Oh yeah, it's pushing to the east, but I'll be watching it closely, folks. I'll be watching it for you very closely. So maybe we'll revisit this. If I forget, in the comments, be sure to say, hey, be sure to check the radar. We want to know what's going on with that. Because, again, I know many of you might be concerned about that. Let's see if this will advance for us. Will it? Will it? And it won't. So I got, yeah, now that I kind of did that, let's get you back. Let's get you back up and running here, folks. Let's get you going back to the forecast. I can't find anything. I'm getting lost and confused. Here we go. All right, take you back to the radar. We'll start it there, and then we'll kind of continue from there. So as we were talking about, we're going to watch this convergence line very closely because it, you know, we don't want that to happen. If it sticks around for a while, we could be re-agitating some of the flooding we saw on Sunday. All right, we're going to watch it closely, though. All right. Don't be too worried just yet, because I do see it moving to the east. We do have some rain off to the east here that we're watching here, and that's going to continue to move on out, and things are drying out this afternoon. We do have that area of low pressure. Now remember, and this is something I mentioned earlier, even I did a post yesterday that you were seeing all over social media, the term bomb cyclone. That's actually a real term used in meteorology, but again, the media has hijacked the phrase to go ahead and make it nice and dramatic for you so you get worried. What's this, a bomb cyclone? That sounds terrible. Well, it is. It's bad. It's not great, right? Because what it is an intensifying area of low pressure. And the criteria you need is that it drops 24 millibars in 24 hours. Now, for you, you're like, well, what does that mean? Well, that's a pretty big drop in pressure. And the bigger the drop in pressure, the stronger the area of low pressure gets, and the stronger the winds end up being. But what I saw at the Reading Airport the last 24 hours, a 14 millibar drop. That's still big. Okay, keep that in mind. That's why we saw those gusts over 50, 60 miles per hour. And that's what I talked about in my post yesterday. Bomb cyclone or not, we're going to see down trees and power outages. And that's the bottom line. But we don't have to use something that's not even really happening, and that's a bomb cyclone. But again, it sounds great, it sounds dramatic, it gets you to click, it makes people money when they're on Facebook. That's what we have to deal with. That's what we have to deal with now. You know, it used to just be when I was in TV that I just had to worry about the media over-dramatizing things, but now there are these people who like to make money off of the weather, who don't know anything about the weather, but just use big phrases and big flashy graphics to get your attention, and they make lots of money off of it. Because you're none the wiser. I don't mean to put, you know, that's not an insult, but that's not your fault. That's why it's important that you know and trust the source you're getting your weather information from. Off my high horse. All right. So the low pressure system has been intensifying. We saw the gusty winds. It's tapping into this moisture. It's giving us the rainfall that we did see last night. You'll notice a spin right here. See that? That's the next area of low pressure that's going to be coming in later tonight and tomorrow. More winds, more rain, and colder air associated with this one, folks. And that's going to lower those snow levels, and that's why we do expect travel to be a bit of a concern as we go into your holiday, right? So there's the storm system that's moving through as we speak. That's moving out. Now, this is storm system number 2. That's what's coming in tonight and tomorrow. Now, this cold front will be the source for the winds. Behind it, the source of colder air, and that's when snow levels start to drop as we go into Christmas morning, Christmas Day. Then we'll have more of that leftover rain from that storm system on Friday, but look at this. Relief is on the way. High pressure building in for Saturday, Sunday. We're getting a break from the wet weather and things will start to dry out. Here's another thing I need to talk to you about here, and just because you're going to probably hear about it, people may try to sensationalize it a little bit here. The Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma puts these out for across the nation. The light green is pretty typical for us. That just means there's a chance for thunderstorms. The darker green, that puts us in a category 1 with the potential for thunderstorms to develop. I'm going to tell you right now, it's happening a little bit this morning out towards Reading with that line that's beginning to develop. We'll watch that very closely. But that also being said, doesn't happen for us very often, folks. We're at the lowest category of maybe even a brief spin up. I think the better chances are going to be for our neighbors to the south and the Sacramento region, but for us here, I just don't necessarily see it happening. We may see it reestablish itself as far as the instability and all of the factors that we need, the what we call severe weather indices, to kind of redevelop maybe later this evening, and we'll have to watch for that potential as we go into the tonight, into the overnight hours, and thunderstorms could develop at that point as well. All right, so again, don't be too terribly concerned when you look at that map. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast. It's picking up at least at 8 o'clock this morning. Still that potential for thunderstorms in Siskiyou and northern Shasta County. And we're still seeing some of that rain this morning at 8 a.m. off to the east. Now, look what happens as we take you into midday today. Still some activity here. And all right, maybe a little bit of activity here as well. But you see, for the most part, dry conditions. We are drying things out through the afternoon today. That was kind of the case out there yesterday. All right, so that's good. We need the break. We don't need the rainfall at this point, right? So then we see more of the rain that we don't need. There's a Wednesday night at 10 p.m. That's tonight. We're actually going to see tonight's storm and into tomorrow come in 2 surges. The first one comes in tonight, windy, rainy, snow still about 4,500 feet. Then the second surge comes with that cold front, windy, heavy rain, snow still fairly high, but watch what happens with this rain as we progress through time. Turns to snow. That's because behind that cold front, the colder air moves in and we see snow levels drop down to about 3,500 feet. East of I-5, I'm still projecting that you'll see chain requirements tomorrow morning. North on I-5 near Mount Shasta, watch it. Watch it closely. I'll be watching it for you tomorrow morning as well. There you can see out towards Trinity County, maybe Highway 36, but Highway 299, it may just be a little bit too, the elevations may be too low for snow, which would be good because if you do need to travel, the main concern you probably will be dealing with here is the potential for mudslides, debris flow as the works. Now another surge of moisture comes in Thursday night, more snow off to the east in particular. And then you can see as we go into Thursday night, still more snow. Now this is when I expect the biggest concerns for travel, especially as you head on I-5 and west of I-5, because at this point, there's going to be another slightly colder surge of air coming in Thursday night, early Friday morning. And I think Highway 299, Buckhorn, Oregon Mountain, Berry Summit, also Highway 36, maybe some chain requirements there. And by the way, as early as today and tonight, Scott Mountain Pass on Highway 3 will most likely see snow. Meanwhile, on I-5 near Mount Shasta northward could see snow. And we're definitely going to see snow off to the east, and that's going to mean more travel delays there as well. Then we take you into midday Friday. Still the snow, especially off to the east here. Still some scattered showers, snow flurries here and there, but it's beginning to taper off Friday afternoon. By Saturday, you're done. Maybe some morning fog for the valley, but with those north winds kicking in a little bit here, that should help to scour out any of that fog. And then I do expect to see some sunshine. Yeah, through the day on Saturday and Sunday. I think our forecast model, in-house forecast model, is under predicting the rain. It's showing about 1.5 inches on average. I'd say about 2 to 3 inches is a very good possibility for today through Friday night. And I'd say we're going to see more than that along the coast as well. So with that all being said, there is a flood watch. So let me reiterate something, and I talked about this yesterday. The flood watch is through Friday. To give some perspective on the amount of rain we saw on Sunday in the Redding area during that convergence line, there was 5 to 8 inches of rain, and more than that in some cases, in a matter of 10 hours. That is a very large amount of rainfall in a short period of time. 10 hours is a short period of time when you have that much rain coming down. That's why we saw the extreme flooding that we ended up seeing in the Redding area, okay? That's what happened. Now, to put things in perspective, I mentioned that we're going to see about 2 to maybe 3 inches of rain through Friday, but that's in a span of like 3 days, right? Today, tomorrow, and Friday. Much less rainfall than we saw even in that 10-hour span on Sunday. That being said, that doesn't mean you can let your guard down, because during these times when the rain is coming through, and sometimes it will be a few hours of moderate to heavy rainfall, it can re-agitate some of the flooding that we have seen, and what that can do is produce flooding. See, the ground is very saturated. It can't hold any more water. So when you get that rain, it has nowhere to go but the low-lying areas first, and then it just works its way up, depending on how long that rain lasts. So that's what's going on there. But meantime, we still have to watch creeks, streams, low-lying areas, and the rivers. Taking a look at Eel River at Fern Bridge, I've been showing you this. It was at the moderate flooding stage here on Sunday night and through the day on Monday, dropped significantly. It's not expected to get anywhere near the minor flood stage later this week. We take a look at Sacramento River at Tehama Bridge. It will get near the minor flood stage through this week, but it shouldn't get much worse than that. But we're still going to see that potential for that happening. Take a look at this too. We look at the end of December into early January, we have equal chances of above or below normal rainfall. So essentially what this is saying is the wet pattern we've been experiencing, it's going to start to kind of give us a bit of a break for the rest of the month. After, of course, Thursday and Friday. So this is the cold and windy setup that we have for the rest of the week. This low pressure diving down to the south is going to usher in colder air, and it's also going to give us those gusty winds. And then by the time we get into Friday, still gusty winds, still some colder air moving in, but as we go into Saturday, Sunday, that dives down to the south and west, and we have high pressure building in, giving us warmer temperatures, number one, but number two, a little bit of that north flow of winds. It may be a little breezy out of the north, but no major wind events. All right, there is a high wind warning, though, through the next couple of days. We have a high wind watch for the coast through Thursday evening. We have a high wind warning and a wind advisory through midday today. This will probably be reissued later today because there will be more wind there over the next few days, and basically just broad brushing through Friday for the valley with those gusty winds as well. Here are the peak gusts that we've seen in the last 24 hours. Most of them have been in the valley into the north and east. You see some of these here are over 60 miles per hour. Some of the mountain ridge tops may have seen more. Stronger winds, but you get the idea. 40, 50, close to 60 miles per hour, especially in the valley. Here are some of the power outages we're seeing. This is the latest coming in, about 1,000 out towards Siskiyou County, about 4,000 in Humboldt, about 3,000 for Shasta County, 200 in Tehama, about 1,000 in Glenn County, 800 customers in Butte, and about 600 in Plumas. The winds had the impact that we were talking about. Down trees, power outages, right? Now, let's take a look at the forecast. As you can see here, going through the day today, the winds will start to subside. That is good. Not so good is the fact that they're going to come back later tonight and early tomorrow morning, and it will be gusty throughout the day on Christmas Day. It'll be gusty through most of the day on Friday, but by Friday night into Saturday, the winds will at least subside. More of a north wind coming in as we saw that low pressure going down to the south and east, south and west that is, high pressure to our north. That's going to give us a north breeze, but not a major wind coming in. This is what we call the forecast wind gust swath. What it's doing is it's taking us from now through Friday morning, and it's just saying, here's the forecast highest gust you'll see in that time frame. So you can see on average upper 40 mile an hour winds, 50, even probably close to 60 miles per hour in some cases. So it's not over yet, folks, even though we are expected to see those winds die down this afternoon. We still have a winter storm warning for most of Northern California, with the exception of the valley, the coast, and central Siskiyou County. I think I saw a comment on Facebook saying, looks like Wairika's not going to get into the snow. Maybe. It's definitely kind of borderline here. Interesting, too, we actually have an avalanche warning for the backcountry of Mount Shasta. Yeah, the Avalanche Warning Center in Mount Shasta has issued that warning here, and that'll be through today until 6 p.m. So just be aware of that. If you are one of those who go snowshoeing or the works, just know that it may be dangerous out there. Now, here's the good that's coming out of the snow. As you may have heard, the Mount Shasta Ski Park is going to be opening the slopes this Saturday, pending the snow, because they haven't seen any snow just yet, have they? But they will. It's going to happen. All right, for those of you traveling in the mountains the next few days, watch closely. Pay attention. Here we go. Here we are at 9 o'clock this morning. Not much going on, right? But as we go into about 3 p.m. today, you see still not a lot going on because as you saw, there's not a lot of rain or snow in the forecast through today. But by tonight, we start to see that snow reemerge. I'd say Bogard Ranger Station will most likely see snow. Highway 3 at Scott Mountain Pass, I think you'll see some snow, but it looks like you're all clear, at least from snow tonight, for Highway 299 and Highway 36 and I-5 as well. But east of I-5, we may start to see the potential for that snow coming in. As we go into Thursday morning, this only goes out to 3 a.m., but I think a lot of this will turn over to just all snow off to the east here as we go into later Thursday morning, say around 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And then we could maybe see that turn over to snow. Of course, it'll be snow on Scott Mountain, but it looks like maybe some snow possibly even on Highway 36, but slimmer chances at least Thursday morning for Highway 299 West. So just kind of take you day by day. There's a look at Thursday, the accumulating snow beginning to kind of pick on up. Now, some areas that might be overdoing it would be Mount Shasta, Bernie. These areas are borderline of where we're going to see accumulating snow, but you certainly have that potential to see at the very least a mix, and if it gets low enough, maybe some minor accumulations. Now, Chester, this might be overdoing it as well. I want to maybe put it down towards the lower end there, maybe about a foot of snow, if that, but there you can see a little bit of snow out towards Fall River Mills and Alturas, about 2 to 4 inches of snow is a possibility, but I don't anticipate any snow for Weaverville or Hayfork. Take a look at the chain requirements out there. I don't see any. Looks like we're all okay here, but we take you down to the Sierra. Yeah, there are those chain requirements, all of them right here, right? So that's been the case here really the last few days. Let's take a look at the Sierra road conditions here. If you're traveling there today, there are chain requirements now. There will most likely be chain requirements through the day today. As you can see here, even going into tonight, you're getting into the snow. The darker blues is that heavier snow that's moving on in. So chain requirements are definitely going to be a very good possibility tonight and tomorrow morning for places around the Sierra. This is just day by day as well. You can clearly see it really piling up. You start getting into the whites here, indicating several feet of snow working its way into the Sierra. That's not going to be a place you're going to want to travel over the next few days. Lake levels have been showing signs still of increasing. Yesterday, it was a 10-foot increase for Lake Oroville. Today, last 24 hours, 4.35 increase, but looking healthy. It looks like the wave heights are dropping a little bit here, but they're back to getting quite high as we take you into your Christmas day. There actually is a hazardous seas warning here for today with south winds at about 30 to 35 knots. All right, here's a look at your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We are looking at your forecast for today, starting off with Trinity County. Snow levels around 3,500 feet Thursday. I think another slightly colder surge of air coming in on Thursday night and Friday. That could lower us down to about 3,000 feet. So that means Hayfork, Weaverville at the very best, or least, however you want to look at it, you may see a rain-snow mix, especially Thursday night into Friday. For the North Coast, temperatures are going to be in the mid-50s there. Ferndale about 58. There may be some stray showers out there for today, but the bulk of the rain that we're going to see here through the next 3 days will be Thursday and Friday. We take you up to the north, about 52 degrees for Gas Key, Smith River about 58, and 54 degrees in Orleans. Here's a look at Siskiyou County. There you can see temperatures low 50s as you head out towards Highway 96 and the north end of I-5 near Wairika, Hornbrook about 54. 3,000 feet possibly by Friday. Scott Valley, you're in the upper 40s today. You're going to be looking at maybe an isolated shower. Temperatures low 40s for Thursday, Friday, low 40s for Saturday, Sunday, but dry by then. Central Eastern Siskiyou County, maybe down to about 3,000 feet for Mount Shasta by Friday. So yeah, Mount Shasta, you might get to see some snow around or the day after Christmas. Taking a look at Modoc County, you've got 3,500 feet by Friday, but today you're going to be mainly dry after that morning rain for today. Same story for the Eastern Mountains. You'll see the rain through a good portion of the morning, but by the afternoon you'll be dry today. Bernie, you're down to about 3,000 feet for your snow levels, so yeah, on Friday you could see some of that snow too. Taking a look at Lassen Park and Chester, it looks like snow levels there are going to be around 4,000 feet, so yeah, several feet of snow out at the Lassen Park, right? But Chester, yeah, you're probably going to get upwards of maybe 6 to 12 inches of snow there as well. Paradise, you're looking at mainly dry conditions today, but more rain coming in for your Thursday and Friday. Let's take you down to the south. 56 degrees for Orland as well as Durham. 57 degrees in Oroville. You're mainly dry today. Looking at your 7-day forecast for Chico. We're drying out by Saturday, Sunday, and keeping it dry for Monday, Tuesday of next week. 54 degrees for Redding, 53 degrees for Lakehead, 54 out in Palo Cedro, and Anderson about 55 degrees. And there's your 7-day forecast for Redding. You see those temperatures are going to drop a little bit on Friday at low to mid 50s by Saturday, Sunday, and dry conditions, and then upper 50s for your Monday and your Tuesday. So there it is, folks. That's a look at your forecast. Now, I did remember because, I think that's going to be something that a lot of us are probably thinking about. Yeah, are we going to see that conversion sign develop here? So let's pick it up here at there it is. Okay, let's get you just full screen here. So we are looking right now at what looks to me to be a bit of a conversion sign that's developed. I'm not seeing any lightning strikes, and I do have lightning strikes on. I don't see any warnings that may have popped up. So let's take a look at the progression of this thing. So you can see here at about, 6 o'clock this morning, we started to see it just show signs of developing, getting a little bit more organized. Now, notice too, it's about, let's draw a line here. It's about right here where we kind of start going into the foothills and into the mountains. So you're going to see the winds, as the winds do this is what the winds are most likely, what they're doing. They're blowing this way and they're blowing up the mountains. So it's going to create a line right here. So let's see, and there's that line. Again, right where I drew that line, and of course the wind's coming up. That's 6:47 this morning that we're looking at, but you see how it's just continuing to move to the east, and the last radar sweep is showing that it got a little bit weaker. So we'll see what happens. As we speak right now, I'm just beginning to hear the rain hit the roof. So here's the deal, folks. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to get ready to sign off. Or if it'll make you feel better, I may stick around and we'll kind of wait this thing out. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I have nowhere I need to be. We could stick around and see if this is something that we may just want to watch, maybe for peace of mind. So let's do that. In the meantime, let's take a look at the winds. We saw that a little bit earlier. And so what you're seeing here, it's kind of hard for you to see maybe, and I might be able to draw on it. I don't think I can. I don't think I'll be able to. By the way, that looks like sounds like the rain has subsided over my house. So it was just kind of a brief period of some decent rain and then it stopped. So I have a feeling this is showing signs of getting weaker. However, we do have gusts of, at this point, what I'm seeing here on average, about 30 miles per hour on average. Some areas in the 20 mile an hour range, some areas in the 40 to close to 50 mile an hour range. But for the most part, we're kind of in that 30 mile an hour range. And yeah, the winds are kind of showing that they're blowing here. Now, as the winds pick up, we'll see. All right, let's take a look now at the latest radar image, and there it is. Let's zoom it out. Let's see kind of how far it goes up. So as you can see here, the farthest south, it goes to around Gas Point. Then you got Cloverdale, so you're experiencing some of the rain. Centerville, just kind of work your way up. Redding, so there's downtown Redding. So you've got like Buenaventura, Placer Street, right? And so you kind of got the Buenaventura and Placer intersection. And like I say, I'm just kind of experiencing where are we? There we go. There's Country Heights right there. So it looks like it's just approaching Country Heights. So it may get a little bit heavier again. And I'm just beginning to feel that. Teton Drive. There's Eureka Way. There's Benton Drive, right? Benton Drive getting in on some of this. River Park Drive. Lake Boulevard. We're looking at Redwood Boulevard. So we're still kind of in, now it looks like, yeah, now we're in the city of Shasta Lake, or very north Reading. Now we're getting closer to the city of Shasta Lake with Oasis Road, Twin Boulevard. You're seeing Pine Grove, still seeing some rain there. And it looks like it's starting to kind of taper off. Well, I mean, we still have some decent rain coming down on I-5 there. Tunnel Road, Portal Inn. I mean, this just keeps going up north. Holiday Harbor Resort. Let's see where it stops. Point McLeod. And there you go. So there is I-5 here. Let's kind of put that in perspective of where that stops. I mean, south of Dunsmuir. So this is quite an interesting line that's developed here. And if we were to look at the winds for that whole area, let's see what those winds are doing. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of coming in from the south, southeast, basically southeast. And it's really helping kind of develop that line there. Interesting. All right, let me take a look at some of your comments. Again, we're going to kind of watch this for a few more radar sweeps and see if it's going to gain strength or if it's losing strength or anything of that nature. Let's check out some of you this morning, and we'll just kind of see what you all have to say this morning. We've got Jamie Linside saying Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you. We've got Nick Woods saying good morning to all. We've got Lisa Strickland, who is a regular. Good morning, Mike. We've had 15.38 inches of rain since it started last week and 7.71 since Sunday. So, yeah, you obviously were impacted by that heavy rainfall that we did see around Mountain Canyon, Ingot area. Calm here in Lake County. All right, well, thank you for that report. And by the way, I recognize you down there. I know you all are down there. I know. I've said to many other people that until whether NorCal can grow its staffing and we can get more people in here, I don't, it's too much. This area has so many microclimates. In order for me to give the most accurate and reliable and comprehensive forecast for our area, I have to limit how far I go out of my viewing area, because now I've added another microclimate and that makes things more complicated. So there you go. But I do know, and I've been getting requests from those of you in Lake County. I've also been getting requests in Mendocino County to do more coverage. I wish I could. I really do. But man, oh man, I would not have a life. I don't have a life as it is. We've got Barry saying, good morning and Merry Christmas. Well, good morning to you. She's a regular, by the way. We've also got Dawn saying, Lisa Strickland, does your live there in the 90s when the, did you live there in the 90s when the creek flooded? It was terrible. People's bridges were lost. There you go. Debbie is also, Chappie Debbie Mitchell is a regular, possibly a child of hers or a grandchild. Merry Christmas Eve. We've got Barry, who is a regular. And we've got my good old buddy, Jake Mangus. I don't know if he's necessarily a regular, but he's certainly a big fan of mine. And he's a good friend of mine, too. It's nice to see you, Jake. And thank you. I certainly appreciate that. Always good to hear from you. Hey, by the way, I know I had contacted you. I'd love to talk if you have that ability to do that later today. But I know it's Christmas Eve. I don't want you to take from your family time. We can do it later. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what's going on. All right, so let's take a look at this line and see if it's doing anything special, anything that we need to be concerned about. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be checking the chat line here to see if there's anybody that has any questions. But it is moving through. Let's take a look at the progression. Oh boy. Okay, I'm going to stick around because here's the deal, folks. Now, if you look here, see where it started? Look what's happening. It is stalling out. This is not what we need. I'm a little more optimistic that this won't be as strong as what we saw on Sunday because the winds aren't as strong right now as they were during the time of the convergence event that we saw. But I'm going to be, we have to watch this closely because it is not moving. It has decided to stall out here. And it's a lot of the same areas as we did see last time. So over Reading, oh boy. Any reports of you out there that are getting that rain? How heavy is this? A lot of times too, I look at these different signatures and I'm trying to figure out just how heavy that rain is coming down. I mean, I can look at this, I can do this. I don't know, it'll just give me the DBZ. Yeah, just give me the DBZ. That's not necessarily give me a rain rate. Let's take a look at some other, let's clear that out. Let's take a look at some other tools that we have here. This right here is, all right, now it's coming down a little bit here for me. I can see it, I can hear it. Not see it, but I can hear it. Let's take a look at some cool tools that I have here. I have got, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Hydrology. And then I can also take a look at barren flash flood risk. This is a tool that we have here at Weather NorCal. This is exclusive, by the way, through Barron. And this is, if you see yellow, that means there's an elevated risk for flash flooding. If you see orange, it's a high risk. And if you see red, it is a very high risk. As of right now, that model is not picking up on that. But what this model does is it takes a look at the rain, what it's been doing, and it will start to make projections from there. But as of right now, I'm not seeing that. I think it updates every 2 hours. So we'll see what happens with that one. But oh, no, it goes out 2 hours, I think. Something like that. Okay, let's see if we're seeing any movement on this thing. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to stall out here. Let's take a look at, see if there's any hail. There isn't any hail. Let's take a look at base velocity. We're not seeing any, if we saw some green on there, it's just all outgoing, which makes sense. What that red means is going away from the radar site. Where's the radar site? It's down there towards Oroville. So that makes total sense because what that tells us when we look at the storm winds, red means it's going away from the radar site. So there's the radar site, and so it's doing that. That's the direction that the winds are blowing from the radar. So this projects what the winds are doing based off of that, and the radar can detect that. So kind of a little cool piece of technology. And then of course, what's really cool about this technology from a severe weather standpoint is we can look at what we call couplets. You'll see some green in there, and it can show areas of rotation and the works. But obviously, we're not dealing with that. And as you know, we saw this a little bit earlier. The Storm Prediction Center had put the Sacramento Valley, which goes all the way up to Reading, in a marginal, very 2% risk of a tornado developing. But again, we've got to get thunderstorms to develop first. No lightning strikes with this just yet. I'm not seeing any lightning strikes that have developed, but we've got to really watch that. Let's take a look at, I don't do this very much. There it is, the Barron button. All right, so all this is showing is rain. That's all we're seeing at this point, which again, we don't need it, especially in this area right here after Sunday. So everybody's probably worried and concerned about it. So let's keep a look at this. We've got Bert. He's saying, is that you, Bert, or is that, what's his name from the Christmas, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation? That looks like, what's his name? Looks like Clark. No, not Clark. What was his name? I forgot. But anyway, Bert said he just had a good downpour a few minutes ago in the city of Shasta Lake. What that tells me, though, it's not raining for you now. Like when you posted this, it was raining and then it stopped. So let's see what this is doing here. Let's see if it's showing. Yeah, I mean, it really is showing it just stalling out. It just like stopped. But we're going to have to wait for a few more radar sweeps to see what's happened with it. We've got, boy, someone feels pretty strongly about it. Pretty, I'm going to say darn windy here in Tule Lake, Newell. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jake. Cousin Eddie. This right here, that looks like Cousin Eddie. I can't tell. I mean, it's a pretty small screen that I'm looking at, or just not big enough for my old eyes. It looks like Cousin Eddie. It totally does. And I don't know if that's what he's going for or if Bert just has a great sense of humor. But love that photo, Bert, if that is you. Let's see here. We've got Catherine saying windy and Bernie. We've got Melinda Hunter saying it's still raining in the city of Shasta Lake and pretty good. That's not good to hear. And then we got Jason Foster saying, yes, is the snow level dropping to 3,500 feet? And the answer to that is yes, but not today. Not until probably, I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night. So Christmas night. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. No, it is tonight. It is tonight into tomorrow morning. We can see those we can see the snow drop down to as low as 3,500 feet. Yeah, I was getting the timing off there a little bit here. Calming down in South Reading, Gervan, thank you for the report there. I'm hearing rain on my roof, but it's kind of coming and going in waves as far as the intensity of it. So, man, it just, I know that we see this and people are concerned, and I want to stick around and answer any questions that you may have. Pouring in Northeast Reading off Old Oregon, can see the edge of the convergence line. Okay, interesting. Remember when reports were saying it was we don't have an atmospheric river over us right now. This is strictly just convergence line. All right, I did see an update there on the Barron button. Let's take a look at the reflectivity now, and let's see if we have any new developments on any movement or motion. Okay, so you can see how it stalled out here, and there is where it was the most intense, just at 7 o'clock this morning. Then it updates looks like every 5 minutes. I should have, oh man, I should have the 1 minute in there. All right, there we go. Now we're getting regular updates every minute. Okay, so at about 7 o'clock this morning, that's what it looked like. 7:02, started to still kind of push to the east. 7:08, about 7:07. You can see it kind of pushed a little bit to the east. Then 7:12, not much movement. Not much movement, 7:22. But look at this. That's the latest sweep that came in. You can see that little nudge to the east? That's not enough of a nudge. We'll have to keep watching that, but that's what it looks like right now. Oh, there we go. We've got Brenda saying no rain yet. Okay. We'll check it out. We'll keep checking. Let's see. Let's see if we have any hail. I don't think, there's no way we're seeing hail. There's no way. There's Barron Live. We're going to take a look at Future Scan. No product. Oh, shoot. What? Okay, that's a bummer. Let's see here. Hail swath. There's no hail. Reflectivity and hail. It's only showing rain and reflectivity, and then the Barron button. And of course, the Barron button is only showing the rain. But you can see how it just kind of like, it started, it moved to the east, and then boom, stalled out. We're going to have to watch this. And, you know, this is actually something some of you had asked in recent days, yesterday and even the day before. And I obviously must have done my job in explaining what a convergence line is, because a lot of you were coming to me like, you know, first of all, using the term. I met some of you in public in the last few days and talking about the convergence line and mentioning the convergence line to me. And some of you through social media were asking, boy, with these strong winds we've got in the forecast, could we see another convergence line develop? Right? So I did my job in explaining what a convergence line is. And so those of you that you know, can really just kind of take 2 and 2 and put it together, boy, you can definitely figure out that, yeah, that may be a possibility. And here we are. Here we are. Now, again, one of the main things I stressed, even last night and even this morning, my morning update, is that, you know, pending a convergence line developing and being as strong as the one we did see. Now, again, keep in mind, this convergence line is nowhere near the strength that we saw on Sunday. So we're not at that level just yet. Again, this is the very beginning phases of that developing, but the winds are certainly strong enough that they're doing that. But again, one of the key factors, and one of the reasons why it's not as strong, is because the winds are not as strong as they were during the convergence line event on Sunday. They were easily over 50 miles per hour. At this point, the winds right now are, let's take a look at them. Let's take a look at the latest winds. I'm going to zoom in a bit tighter so we can get more in there. Yeah, I mean, they're in the, 28 miles per hour out at the Reading Airport. I need to put hover information here. There we go. Out at the Reading Airport, we can see here, we've got 25 miles an hour or so. Out there, Auction Yard, PG&E weather station there, 34 miles per hour, Inks Creek. But really what we want to look at here is where it's coming in closer to where the line is, 15 miles per hour, Kiwi Lane, 21. So we're generally in the vicinity of where that line is, 20 to 25 miles per hour, although there's one little outlier here. Oak Run Road south is seeing a gust of about 35 miles per hour. There's the wind. Yeah, we want to keep that gust in there as well. So yeah, it's still pretty gusty out there. And the rain right now over me is nice and steady. There you go. All right, let's see here. Yeesh. It's not really showing much signs of movement, is it? 32, 732. All right, so it's kind of like almost watching water boil. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. And then I'm going to keep watching this. And I'll do updates either way, right? What I'll do, in fact, what I'll do, come back at 8 o'clock this morning. I'm going to come back at 8 o'clock this morning. I'll go live. We'll take a look at the situation. And I'll give you an update. No matter what's happening, whether it's raining, whether it broke apart, it'll be great that I can say that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for now. We're going to go ahead and sign off now. I'm going to keep watching this. And then and I'm just going to leave some music in the background. You can take a look at the radar, and then I'll sign off. I'll come back at 8 o'clock. All right? We'll see you then. Oh, excuse me. By the way, if you're watching, I think what I'm going to do also is on the 24-hour streaming channel, which you can get on YouTube. If you're watching on the 24-hour streaming channel, I'm going to leave this radar image up, and you can take a look. I'm going to leave it up. There'll be no music. It'll just be silence. No, there'll just be no music. It'll be silence, and you can watch until I come up live. How about that? So I'm going to leave it up on Facebook. I'm going to leave it up on the 24-hour streaming channel. But I think for the sake of Facebook, I'm going to take it down. But if you're on Facebook and you're watching and you want to watch this, you can go to the streaming channel on YouTube. Search for Weather NorCal, and you can find the 24-hour streaming channel there. Also, if you have a Roku, download the Weather NorCal Roku app, and it will take you right to the... And by the way, put a space between Weather and NorCal. because it won't find the search otherwise. But on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick. But your best bet is going to be YouTube and Roku. Fire Stick has been having some issues. You can also watch the 24-hour streaming channel on the website, weathernorcal.com. You can also watch the 24-hour streaming channel on the free Weather NorCal app. Search for Weather Space NorCal in your app store, download the app, and you can watch the 24-hour channel there as well. So there's all kinds of great resources for you, but I'm going to take it down for Facebook for now. If you're on Facebook but you want to keep watching this, I just showed you where you can get it. So have yourselves a great morning. I'll be back again at 8. Until then, have a great morning.